This is very important to spread the hair open because remember there's no ammonia and you might miss spots.
Louder, screaming louder, my superpower. Gonna take you higher.
Hello, hello, how are you doing? Oh, the hair besties, this is my client Joey. I haven't seen her in so long. She has been one of my loyal clients for a very long time. Her hair is beautiful. I did not do this last color. As you can see, it's been backcombed, kind of like a backcomb ombre type of style. I'm gonna spin her around so you're gonna see the situation that I'm dealing with today. The cool thing about Joey is she doesn't care what I do. So that's gonna give me a lot of freedom, a lot of leverage to move things around because as you know, there's no way I could go in and do global lightning and not touch some of these demarcated areas. I think less is more because I think that if we try to completely change her, we're gonna have a disaster. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right, let's go, come on, come on. Right. So we're gonna have a close analysis on Joey's hair. I want you to take a look here. She's naturally a level 2. Now it looks super, super black like level 1, but it's actually level 2. The reason why you can tell it's level 2 is over the light touches that you see brown, that means it's not level 1 because a true level 1 is where you can't even see brown in the hair even when the sun touches it. And her hair has been lifted to level 10 in some areas. In some areas, it's been lifted to a 9. Now, since we're using superpowers, the Guy Tang superpower colors are super pigmented, the hair doesn't need to be level 10. Level 9 is fine, in some cases an 8. I don't want to touch this demarcation line and have breakage. I'm gonna dissect her hair, open her up. You could see that even though Joey has been loyal to me, it's not her fault that she goes somewhere else. And I don't really care because I want her to go places that she's gonna get taken care of because I was on a world tour with promoting Guy Tang Mydentity products and I wasn't home and I couldn't be there for my client, so I feel horrible. She probably thought I abandoned her, but I didn't. So I'm glad that she was taken care of by someone else who is talented. So with that being said, now what we're gonna do is make sure we diffuse this and blend it all together. So let's get started here. We're only gonna highlight around her face and throughout the top surface and internally. Less is more, we're gonna do some foils. Let's get started. We are gonna turn towards Big 9 per usual because Big 9 has the ability to lift the hair up to a level 10, even though we're not trying to push it, but if it gets there, awesome. Okay, so here's Big 9. So the highest lift is when you mix 1 to 1/2 ratio. Standard lift is 1 to 2 ratio. So we are gonna do 50 grams. All right, I am gonna use 40 volume, so don't get scared. Because we're not putting 40 volume on scalp, we're foiling with 40 volume. Makes sense? Just like so. Now we're gonna whisk it up. And take a look at that. Okay, so now that's nice and whipped up and you make sure you break down all those granules. Now you're gonna add in the collagen powder. Now because I'm only mixing 50 grams and I don't wanna hold back any power, any sorts, I wanna make sure that we do protect her hair. I am only gonna sprinkle just a titty bit in there so there's protection there. Now I'm gonna apply Big 9 on her hair using the foiling method. And we're gonna start in the back. What I did was section out Joey's parietal areas out the way so we have everything nicely isolated and divided. And you can see the top here, I sectioned a V shape down into the bottom of her crown area, just to get it all out the way. We then gonna separate the back section, divide it into 2. What I'm gonna do is actually use my best friend here, my thick body spray. It allows me to have texture, so when I backcomb her hair, it's actually gonna help the hair stay put. So I'm gonna shape my thick body spray. Just spray it throughout the mids, the roots, just like this, in that section, because when you backcomb, it'll just stay put and it doesn't slide. So I'm gonna do 1-inch section, foiling thin slices throughout each block. So you'll see here, I'm gonna take a slice right across. The thinner the slice, the better. Thin sections allow me to backcomb and get up closer to her rootage. Now, here's the time for me to spoon up the side of the product. I'm just gonna paint right on there. So remember, thin slice, backcomb. I'm gonna place it right up here. So I'm just gonna repeat this. And remember, when it lifts up to a level 9, most likely I'm done, I could pull out. I'm just gonna do a foil overlay. and repeat the same thing. Now as I repeat working my way up, what you will notice is I am taking thin slices. So anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch. The reason why is because you create more of a blend, because if you do every section, you're not allowing room for some of the dark to come down. But you don't want to take such a huge section to where you leave too much black in between. Just enough like this is fine. So I sprayed the Mystique body spray in right through there. And you can see, this allows all the short pieces to go back. So you're not foiling in the short pieces. And sometimes what I love to do is to use like a foil board because it gives you more pressure. So I'll lay the hair onto a foil board just like this, fold it right on over, and place it right up into the scalp edge, just like so. This allows pressure like that, and I can get even closer to that scalp. See that? And I like to paint across because that spreads the hair open. And then I just repeat as I move my way up the head. So Joey, tell me about yourself. Like why fun colors?
Well, I feel like really, you know, being a mom of 2 and you kind of fall in the same routine of doing everyday stuff, school and whatnot. This is kind of like something that's out of ordinary, and you know, it's kind of cool to see like kids in school. They're just like staring, and I can get away with it as far as like, you know, some people always tell me like, oh, I wish I could do that, but they can't because of work. But my work is like flexible enough.
You know, my birthday's coming up really soon. I'm gonna be 40. And life goes by so quick before I know it. I'm like, oh my God, how am I 40 already? And Joey, like, how do you feel? Okay, tell me about that.
You know, I don't even feel different about it, I guess. Isn't it like 40's new 30 or something anyways, right? So
do you still feel like you're 30 even though you're 40?
You see the skirt I was wearing today? I mean,
yeah, you look good. You look hot. I love that. But you know what's crazy? There's so much stereotypes though. Like with age, people go, oh, you're too old to wear that. You're too old to have fun hair. Have you ever had that stereotype put on you before?
You know what? I think people have changed a lot.
You know what I noticed? I feel like time has changed so much now. Like we're living in a time where it's like, you know, who cares? You know, if you want to have green hair, right? It's about really not being afraid of who we want to be. Because in the past, I feel like people were so afraid. Like everyone was kind of like following like whatever everyone's doing. But like now, because of social media too, I feel like it's given people a voice to speak up more than before. And it's giving us so much representation because you go online and you see people like you, and then you kind of go, oh, I can do this too. This is cool. I'm not alone. At least for me. I mean, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about social media?
I try to do, like, I guess I try to do balance of it because you see like the glamorous side for sure a lot. And you have to remind yourself that sometimes that's not all real, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful because, I mean, in all honesty, really, there's a lot of people that kind of look up to that, and it's like, that's not every day. They take so many photos to get that one good shot, and you can't compare.
So don't ever compare yourself to anybody because you are just as great and you're great in what you're doing. We're all great in what we're doing, but we can't compare. So I finished foiling everything in the back. Now we're up to the parietal. This is very important. Instead of going horizontally up the hair, what I find is hugging and framing the face is very crucial because as she ties her hair back, you really want to get all of the money pieces. And the reason why it's called money piece, so many people have asked, is because it's where it counts, right? Money piece is where it counts. Around the face is where it counts. The first thing I'm going to do is spray my thick body spray all around through the mid area because this is where you want the most grip, and it's not going to hinder the lift at all, so you don't have to worry about that. So take a thin slice around the face, and we're going to clip this back out of the way. You want to over direct that face frame and back comb that back. Now I have a preference of laying the foil folded on the board, and what I do is I hold the board and I hold the ends of the hair just like that. By using your thumb here, you're able to anchor the foil nice and neat onto the hair. Now, this does take patience to learn how to do this, because when I first start learning how to foil with the board, it becomes a challenge because you're so used to foiling without the board. But what I love about having the board, it allows me to have more pressure with the brush against the hair, and also the foils look a lot more neat and not all crunched up. So you see how my thumb is right here? And then I release, and then I can go in and place an overlay. Now, also, the cool thing about Big 9 Cream Lightener is while I'm doing this, notice that when you do a checkup, you can literally see your lift. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So, because we are here, but notice my thumb. Look at that pressure of my thumb pinching the ends, and look at how the foil is laying really nice and flat against the board, right? I could paint more neatly. And then you'll see as I get closer up to that hairline here, I turn the brush vertically so it's more erratic and not such a straight line. Now, I brush and roll the hair from side to side, letting the hair expand. But you can see obviously right here, I am touching a demarcation line point, but because that's away from the scalp, we're not so much in fear that we're gonna have any damage. Let's take a peek at the foil in the back. Look at that crazy ass lift with Big 9. Look how even that lift is. Do you see that? She's already at a level 9 effortlessly. So you'll see here, that's about 2 back to back. As soon as I get back here, I'm gonna skip some, leave some out. And I'll repeat that along the hairline around her face frame. And we're gonna do the whole head. And by that time, we're done. This is actually so exciting. I'm so happy. I'm in such a good mood. I love seeing my client Joey. She makes me so happy. All right, guys, it's been 30 minutes now. After I finish my last foil, I'm gonna check to make sure everything looks okay before I start pulling out. This is the part that excites me the most. So let me just take a peek. Can you guys see that? Oh my God, we're pulling this guy out. Look at that lift. That is insane. And no breakage. Look at this, I'm pulling. The hair still feels strong. I'm just gonna keep pulling as I go down. Oh, this is amazing. This is so beautiful. This makes me so happy. Look at this. See that? Now, here's the thing. Down here it starts to look kind of dull. So what I do is I shampoo hair. I am gonna use the lightener that's still on her base area and massage it down with the water. So it kind of like breaks up this dullness that you're seeing down here. I like a lot of times for my colors to look bright. You want your colors to look bright. So it's very, very important. And as I was sitting down with Joey, a thing that we were discussing about is, should we go purple or should we go green? And Joey, what do you think we should do?
I love green. I do.
She loves green. I encourage you to say, do green. What do you think if we do green? What do you think?
Why do I think?
What do you think if I decided to do green on you? Would you be down?
I'll be happy. Oh yeah.
But look how beautiful this lift is, right? So I want to show you guys. See that? You can see the dimension, the separation. All right, so we're gonna let the top part process for probably another 10 minutes, and we're gonna rinse her out. I am so excited. I mean, look at this. Can you see? Take a look. This lift is amazing. We got rid of all the purple. Again, since we're gonna do green, I didn't want to erase her green because we don't want to damage her hair. So since there's green residuals that's been left over, we're gonna use that to our advantage and put green on her hair. But let's make it fun and add Bleu Mystique on the retouche, so we get to blur that in. Because Bleu Mystique is on the cooler side of blue. It didn't add Ocean Rain. So Ocean Rain is more like that aqua blue, so it looks like the ocean, right? Ocean Rain. And then Green Aurora going through the ends and around the face frame. Now, the cool thing is, you see these little gold yellow pieces that are level 8 and level 9? I did not overlap the ends. These ends were already there, lifted to this level from her previous stylist. And the reason why I'm not looking to bleach anything up to a level 10 is because think about it. If we're gonna put green on her ends, why lift it to a 10? It only needs to be a level 8 or 9 because there's gold there. It's gonna help the green pop more, right? So the more yellow you put into green, the more the green is gonna scream and be louder. So her hair is really healthy. There's no breakage. The collagen powder really did wonders because there's no breakage at all. The overlapping subtly over the band, that's why I love the collagen powder. Just a little sprinkle really helps. So take a look at that lift. It looks beautiful already considering how paranormal the situation was. You can see when you look at her routage, look at those highlights. They're blurred in, they're so blended. So what's gonna happen is if I don't end up seeing her for 2 months, 3 months, 4 or even 5 months, it's still gonna look beautiful because as she turns, you can see a bunch of her natural hair going through from the back comb. And it's still gonna ombre itself out through the ends. It's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna do Bleu Mystique first. I'm gonna squeeze her out. Superpower box should look like this. So it's called Superpowers for so many reasons because it has a lot of pigment, super powerful, super pigmented, lasts a long time, really rich, but also the meaning behind superpower is pretty deep. It's about knowing what to do with your powers. We're gonna put my hero, Guy Tang, collagen powder in. This is very, very important for me because this is the time to really repair the hair. So I'm just gonna put a whole scoop. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of Olaplex. Olaplex has a pH of 3.5. So now we're gonna go in with Ocean Rain. This is one of my favorite color and I love the name. When I say rain, we're not talking about the rain falling from the sky. We're talking about rain as in someone who's a ruler, like where they rule a kingdom, or someone who reigns. And because it's gonna be a brighter tone, that's gonna be the midsection. Look how beautiful that color is. So you can see the difference in the tonality from this blue versus the Ocean Rain. And again, I'm gonna give her this shade the same treatment with Olaplex. Use it plenty because this is direct dye. Superpowers are direct dyes. Green Aurora, my favorite, the activist shade. Because I feel like we always have to fight for green because people are always stereotyping green. Stereotypes are not sexy and I'm over it. But we want to add a little extra splash of something something. But a little bit of lightning bolt, just that much. I just want it to be just a teeny bit brighter so that way there's a distinction, you know, and vibrancy between the 3 shades. Okay, we're gonna go apply this on her hair right now. All right, so now I'm gonna bend her head down. So you can see here, I don't need to put the Bleu Mystique Blue directly on her scalpage. I'm just gonna put right like a centimeter off of the scalp because we don't want to stain the scalp. So here's the Bleu Mystique, and you can see here, it's about clean application, putting it right off of the scalp, just like so. Because if you stain that scalp, it's kind of hard to get it off sometimes. So I find that if you do it a little bit off scalp, clean application really looks a lot more professional. But you can see here as I apply the product, look how nice the Superpower just glides right on. All right, so I'm just gonna keep on applying this and we're just gonna do thin slices because thin slices allow me to penetrate more. All right, so as you can see, I placed Bleu Mystique on the routage and some of it I dragged it a little bit lower because I wanted to have like almost an eradication. I don't want it to be like, oh, here's just the root area and here's an formula. I want like vertical ombre movements. Now I'm gonna go in with my second formula and this is Ocean Rain. Now it's hard to see right now the difference between the 2 color, but in the bowl you can definitely see there's a huge difference between the 2 color. This is very important to spread the hair open because remember there's no ammonia and you might miss spots. So you have to make sure the hair is taking the color by opening the hair up so you don't miss any spots whatsoever. Leaving the ends out because this is where you're gonna ombre in the green. And even though this doesn't seem like much hair for the green to sit on, the green is gonna be very dominant because anything that's warm is gonna reflect more, even though you're not giving it much space to reflect. And also the ends of the hair always pop, regardless if you're just using just the tips of it. And as I move up the hair, like some of the pieces you're seeing here, right through here, I want the green to go higher. So that way there's like almost mimicking a balayage. All right, I'm just gonna swipe this through and then we're gonna go in with our next formula, which is the Green Aurora. We are down to the very last shade. Now, this is gonna be the Green Aurora with a little bit of lightning bolt. Make sure that when you apply the last color, what I find that really helps me is apply it on the very ends first. like this before you start blending the colors together, because this allows for the hair to soak in the color on the ends in its full concentration before you start swiping the blue into it. Because what's going to happen is if you swipe the blue into the ends, then you're going to turn it teal and it's not going to look pure green because you're going to melt the colors in together. So this is what I do. Now, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to, but this is something I do that really, really works for me. And also remember that the underlying pigment is contributing to the final end result. So if the hair is more yellow, you're actually going to see more green pop through. It's going to look more limey. Now if the hair is more platinum white, you're going to see more blue come through because your background and the canvas you paint on plays a final role. The end's already been saturated. It has marinated long enough. So now I get to go back in and place the green right between that and merge it together without cross-contamination. All right, so after I apply the color throughout, around her face frame and her ends, we're gonna let her marinate for 20 minutes and we're gonna rinse her out.
So don't compare me to the ones you've had before, cause I don't want that bullshit in my life no more. I gave you every piece of me, that's all I can do. Don't compare me, don't compare me. Don't you tell me that I'm not like them, not like them. Don't you tell me I don't do it like they used to.
All right, justice for green Aurora, guys. Seriously, it's a true activist color because it's so beautiful, it's so vibrant, and we talked about this whole time. Green needs more love because take a look at it. I need to know how you feel, Joey. Do you love it or what?
I love it!
I love it. I think it's beautiful. What I love is look how blended that looks right up here at the routage, because we let her natural level 2 hair come through with the foils and giving it that blue mystique. You get that depth and dimension and that ocean rain. So you get like this really beautiful ocean blue color. And then to just really tip them out face frame, you get that money piece that looks almost like a balayage with that green Aurora. And that little bit of lightning bolt in there really make it pop really brightly. Now, if you don't want the lightning bolt in there, so you want the green to be less bright, you could do that as well. But this is beautiful. I love it, front and back. You have such good hair. All right, guys, thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell below so you get all the notification. And as usual, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, because if you haven't, I'm gonna be mad at you, okay? All this free education and you still haven't hit that subscribe button. What's wrong, huh? What's going on? Anyway, download my music too, okay? We have some good music. I have my album. Everything is gonna be out, and I'm gonna end this with a trailer to one of my songs. All right, bye guys, pew!
So don't compare me to the ones you've had before, cause I don't want that bullshit in my life no more. I gave you every piece of me, that's all I can do. Don't compare me.